So the abrasive itself, the sand, would have to be of a considerably harder material than the granite, which...
Quartz is not considerably harder?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that would be hard enough to last as a fixed abrasive.
Diorite?
Maybe. Schist? Maybe. If there was a place where you could get schist sand, and then you could use that instead of, I went right to diamond because I've used diamond tools a lot before. I know the patterns they leave and all that kind of stuff. And I've got some pictures of diamond tools that were recently used in some of these areas and what they look like. And they look a lot like what you see. But according to what I've been told, there's been a lot of research, or a fair amount of research done looking for diamonds, and they have found nothing.
Yeah, not even diamond dust or...
Not even diamond dust. But I don't know where they've looked, how they've looked. Have they looked at the quarries? Or were they just looking for diamonds existing in Egyptian history as more so how we normally look at diamonds, which is for, jewelry and wealth and that kind of thing.
But why would they found diamond in the quarries? I mean, these surfaces were finished or polished right at the place. They drilled the holes probably not in the quarries, but probably in situ.
We don't know. I mean, if there were specifications, and I think we've established that because of the massive size of these projects and the complexity of how they were put together, they obviously had some kind of specifications. We've seen paintings on limestone of architectural floor plan kind of paintings on stuff that were actually very well done.
But still ridiculous. Why on a stone, which is not...
Why on a stone? Let's not get off subject. So why wouldn't they say, I need a block of this size to go here, and I want a hole here? So look at the quarry. Why wouldn't they have a hole saw at the quarry? Yes, they probably had them on site as well to put final holes where they wanted them, like for hinge points or those kinds of things, because we saw that. How did they do them upside down? There's a good question. But I would assume that they would also be at the quarries. So why not search around the quarries? But I mean, we're also talking about places that have been buried in sand for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Yes.
What level were we working at?
Sand comes and goes.
How many, well, like the Aswan quarry, how many generations of masons or quarry workers have worked out there over the last 10,000 years, 5,000, whatever. We're probably potentially talking about tools that were used prior to dynastic Egyptians. And if that's the case, how much time has there been for that evidence to get swept away or buried or whatever? I'm not convinced that there wasn't the presence of diamonds for stuff like this, but I don't think that they've been looking for what you would be looking for if there were diamonds that were affixed to tools like this in use somewhere.
I think they can get hard stone and precious stones from maybe close enough to diamond from South Africa. Also, even diamond.
You get diamond from South Africa. Come on, it's not even across water. It's on one continent, and there's a lot of speculation about, well, how far did the Egyptians go? There's evidence that we find Egyptians, maybe even pre-dynastic Egyptians, all the way as far as Australia.
Well,
so why couldn't they get to South Africa or trade with South Africa?
The infamous Ra expedition in the 70s. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
When they sailed the Atlantic on reed boats built by Egyptians in Egyptian style, and they did it so it was possible because the currents will carry the raft or the boat
Yeah, they struggled a bit, and then they finally got on the right current, and whoosh, took them all the way there.
The first expedition failed because they didn't follow this curvy edge pattern of the reed boats.
Oh.
What you can also find on the temple depictions and on the walls. They use this really. They basically pulled the edge back and they curved it in a weird shape. And
that probably deflected water out.
Yeah, exactly. And when they missed this part, the boat sank.
The boat sunk, yeah.
But when they corrected, it was successful. So it's a little bit, I don't know, I just don't understand why we don't believe that they could do seafaring, they could do traveling. We have tons of evidence for this, and we still don't believe that the ancient people could be able to do seafaring, or they were skilled enough for doing this. It's just weird for me. But yeah, this was not only. I think we also found in Luxor, when we found this very weird cut in the wall. It's a strange drill hole. Yes, here it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another weird one.
So we have the point cloud. Yeah. So I didn't get this groove here. I'm not saying it's the same cut or it's coming from the same process like this entire hole. Probably it's a different. It's not really aligned. I don't know. What do you think about this on the side?
I examined that one as closely as I could. It wasn't as clear to examine the surface on this one because at the time of day that I was there was a fair amount of shading on it, so I couldn't get different reflections and things like that to really kind of come at it a bunch of different ways. But it's got the striations or the lines in it. They're fine enough to where it's very difficult to see whether they're helical or annular. But the bottom of the hole appears the same as most of the other ones I've seen, where the cut terminates and leaves that little groove at the bottom, and then they snapped off the core somehow. This secondary features of this annular groove and the two axial grooves meeting that at 90-degree angles. This is something that most likely happened after they drilled the hole. That seems kind of obvious.
It's kind of they try to fix something in this hole.
I don't know. You could speculate all over the place about what was this for. Was this to
mold?
Huh?
Or it's a mold?
It's a mold. Was this set of grooves to help the actual hole saw or tube drill do its work? Was it a feature that was left in this hole that then was to be used with what this hole was put there in the first place for? Is this a hinge point or something like that? Were they going to then pour some kind of metal into this hole that they wanted to key into these grooves? Was it a lubricant that they were going to stick in these grooves?
The hinge point is not a really bad idea, in my opinion, because if we just turn it like this, it can be an edge of a door.
Yeah. Well, we've seen this in actual doorways. There's a recessed feature that looks like some kind of slot or something, and we see that on this picture.
It's kind of an extra.
There's a hole going down into it. I'm not quite sure why you would have this pocket that then you have a hole at the bottom of the pocket leading into the stone. But it's apparent in a lot of places that is
to prevent turning.
Prevent turning, or maybe it was self-closing or something like that. Something may have been put in this pocket that the door then sat on as a thrust bearing of some sort, because the weight of the door may have been
And
a
then the
lot.
bearing won't turn if they have
It
these
won't turn because it's keyed, because it's a rectangular shape roughly. But while we're on this subject, when you look at the appearance of that pocket that we see a cross section of here, you again see evidence of some kind of machining or mechanical work.
Here?
Nope.
Or here?
Here, yeah. Now spin it upwards a bit and you can actually see the radius in the corner that looks like it's a bit undercut to the left of the frame. You can see how the corner's cut in a bit. And that it goes into a 3D corner at the end of it.
I'm not sure if this point cloud is...
It's showing the undercut, definitely.